Hey everybody, thank you for joining us today on KlingsporFIT. We have a great show lined up for you with lots of valuable information. And first we're going to go to Tammy Guess, who's going to give us a COVID update. Tammy?
Thank you, Lorie. Good evening, everyone. As we normally do, our COVID update, we'll start with Catawba County. In our county, as of our last meeting on the 7-day average from last week, it was 345 new cases. This time we're down to 304. Total cases in Catawba County, 24,775, and the vaccination rate is up 1%. It was 48, now we're at 49% in Catawba County. In North Carolina, on our next slide, we're up on our last meeting, the 7-day average, 2,148, and now we're at 1,340 for a 7-day. The daily percentage positive rate was 7.7, now it's down to 6%. And our vaccine rate was 65 last meeting, now it's up 66. So we are seeing some trends in the numbers coming down, hoping that will continue. On our next slide, the U.S. Numbers are still trending down, as you can see. From our last meeting, the 7-day average was 89,526, and trending now, as of today's data, 7-day average, 70,291. So we're hoping this will continue with the COVID. And of course, our map that we look at each time from our high transmission areas. As we've seen the past 2 times, there was a lot of red, mostly red. Last time, I think California and Puerto Rico were in the orange, which is the moderate, and they have changed to substantial, so they've dropped down to the yellow zones. North Carolina is still in a high transmission area, but 10 states have been added and dropped from the high to the substantial. So there again, a sign of the COVID coming down. And they are saying a lot of this is due to the vaccination rates. And then our next slide shows our vaccination rates. As you can see, they are trending up. As of the 24th was the last date it was recorded. Doses given in the U.S. is 414 million doses. Fully vaccinated, it's 191 million people, and the vaccination rate is 57.9%. And with that being said, they are talking about the flu season coming up, which they're calling it the twindemic. They're saying this because although, according to the CDC, although there was very little flu activity last year, and it was because of the mandates of protection with masks and staying in, the quarantines, they are concerned about the 21-22 flu season being more difficult. So that's why they're calling it a twindemic. The relaxation of pandemic safety measures may encourage flu infection. So with that, the experts are not sure exactly how to treat both COVID and flu at the same time, so they are encouraging the vaccine and the flu vaccine. That's where they're looking and talking more about the vaccination rate. But we will continue here at Klingsport to practice our social distancing, our mask mandates, and just being safe. And we ask everyone to continue doing that. And of course, there again, CDC, and there's plenty of information on the web about the trends and what's happening. We just hope it continues to trend down. Thank you. Lorie?
Thank you, Tammy. To coincide with this information that Tammy has shared, next we have Dr. George Place, who is going to talk to us about staying well this winter, helping you avoid COVID-19, colds, and the flu this winter season, and keeping your immune system healthy. Then following George's presentation, we'll have Marian Erickson, who will give us some information based on a plant-based living perspective. First, we'll go to George.
Well, hello again, everyone. It's me, George Place, and I'm here to talk about some ways that you can stay healthy. Of course, we're thinking about immune system in the days of a pandemic, but also flu season is coming on, and getting the flu is no fun at all. Before I get started, I want to remind everybody, I am a doctor, but I'm not a medical doctor. I'm a doctor of science. And so what I'm presenting to you is just research-based information. I'm not recommending that you do one thing or another over another. In fact, if you have any second thoughts about these things, talk to your physician. I want to put these ideas on your radar as ways that you can boost your immune system and potentially avoid getting sick. But do keep in mind, getting sick is a bit of luck as well. So let me give you some tips. So starting off, this is our typical flu virus, and you can see that it looks very similar to the coronavirus, as we've been looking at images of for the last year and a half or so, and the cold virus as well. And so all of these viruses kind of have some similar structure, and there's similarities about how they attach to cells in your body and how your immune system fights them off. And of course, last year, with all of the isolation and social distancing and people wearing masks, the flu season had an enormously reduced emergency room visit. In a typical year, maybe 1 in 20 visits to the emergency room would be for the flu. Last year, it was less than 1 in 1,000. And so for some folks, they're wondering if this year might be a more serious flu season because as we're moving out of the pandemic, some of the restrictions and social distancing is not as prevalent as it was last year. So be aware there's a lot of different things that you can do to help protect yourself from the flu. But of course, if you do feel those symptoms, just follow some of the advice on this screen. Recognize the symptoms, and please do everybody a favor, including yourself, stay home. Nobody likes a martyr at work that came in to tough it out and get that job done, and they're sick, and meanwhile they get 6 other coworkers sick. So rest and recover, but also stay home for your fellow coworker and keep people safe and get treatment if you need it. So of course, your first line of defense when it comes to things like the flu and of course COVID is getting vaccinated. You may have heard that the flu vaccination is not as effective as the COVID vaccination, and it really depends on how you look at the numbers, but one figure that's very common is that in the 2 years back, the flu season of 2019 and 2020, for the most part, it was estimated that the flu shot was about 39% effective in keeping people from getting so sick that they needed to go see a doctor. And so for some folks, that's not very effective. But if you've ever had the flu before, perhaps it's worth it. I tend to believe it's definitely worth it. Getting the flu is terrible. So I do plan on getting my flu shot, and they're becoming widely available. You've probably heard this before as well. You don't want to get your flu shot too early. The flu is always changing. Those viruses are always mutating and evolving based on selection pressure. And so if you get your flu shot too early, say if it were available in August, for example, well, the effectiveness of that shot would start to wear off by maybe February and March, but we're still in the flu season at that time. And so getting a flu shot in maybe end of October, early November really can be that sweet spot so that you have an immunity boost throughout the entirety of that flu season. And for some of our folks that are over 65 or concerned, you might want to talk to your doctor about some other options for flu shots. For example, the Fluzone high dose has a 4-time viral antigen, and there's other products as well like Fluad that can give you an added boost. Talk to your physician and see if that's right for you if you're really concerned about getting the flu. And while we're on those options, pneumonia, which is actually a bacteria, there is a pneumococcal vaccine that can give you added protection. So again, if you're older and you're worried about some of these illnesses, talk to your doctor. I don't recommend them one way or the other, but I do want to put it on your radar so that you can consider options to keep yourself healthy. And of course, now we're more accustomed to wearing masks. Other countries, particularly in Asia, have been doing this for quite a while. And it is worth noting, and I think everybody kind of knows this, there are different qualities of masks. Right now, hey, a mask is a mask. But if you're really wearing the mask to protect yourself, consider that, for example, on the far left, we've got, they're good masks. They'll catch some of the macro particulate water droplets and maybe some fine mist. But as you go to that right side of the screen, those N95 type masks, not only are they catching the very fine, the ultra fine mist that also carries viral products, but they fit more closely to your face. In fact, that N95 mask is considered a respirator mask. And so if you're wearing a mask and you're truly wanting to keep yourself protected, do consider that quality matters as far as how many water droplets and what size of water droplets those masks can protect you from. And of course, like The Rock, wash your hands, and if you've got little ones, wash the hands of little ones. I love this picture. Look at his cute little daughter. Quite a size difference there. But help your children get the habit of washing the hands, and I'm sure you've seen all the different videos of people singing songs so that they're washing hands the right amount of time. 20 seconds, 25 seconds, getting the soap between the fingers. It's really going to help you reduce the pathogen load that we pick up with those hands, and they find their way into our body through food or just, it's amazing how much we touch our eyes and nose and mouth throughout the day. So washing the hands, great line of defense. Okay, so we've been hearing about all those things all throughout the pandemic, so it shouldn't be much of a surprise. Let's talk about some other things that you can do to boost your immune system. Big one, if you smoke, try to reduce it. And if you can go for it and quit, do it. For all the reasons that I'm sure you heard, I don't need to repeat them, but smoking is something that dramatically suppresses your immune system. And regular exercise. Lots of research shows that if you're getting a regular exercise regime, for example, we've talked about trying to get some walking in, maybe 20, 30 minutes a day, that can make a huge difference in boosting your immune system. And no surprise there, if you get some extra exercise, you're also going to feel higher energy, right? The other thing, and we'll talk about in a moment, exercise helps reduce stress, which is a whole other cause of immune suppression. So this can be one of your big guns as far as trying to keep yourself healthy during the flu season. Okay, sleep. Hopefully you're hearing more and more about the importance of sleep. It really is one of these top 3 things when we talk about your overall health. And there are studies that demonstrate, for example, when someone sleeps less than 6 hours a night, in a study of several dozen folks, the folks that slept 6 hours a night were 4 times more likely to catch the cold when all test subjects were subjected to cold. They were all exposed to the cold virus. The test subjects that slept less than 6 hours were 4.2 times more likely to actually catch the cold than people that were getting at least 7 hours of sleep a night. And for people that were getting less than 5 hours of sleep, it was an even higher probability that they got sick. So all kinds of research has demonstrated get at least 7 hours of quality sleep. And if you're not getting quality sleep, fix something about your environment, whether it be turning off lights as you get later in the evening. One of the big things is stop looking at screens because, of course, all of that light is destroying your ability to produce melatonin, which will greatly help you fall asleep. Make sure that you can make your sleeping arrangement in a dark room, right? So if you've got window shades that don't really block the light, consider blackout curtains. You'll sleep better. And the ideal temperature in your bedroom for sleeping is 65 degrees. And so there's a lot of research on how sleep will boost your immune system and, of course, allow your body to just recover and function more effectively. So don't skimp on sleep. And stress. I love this one, right? This cartoon. So you're telling me that if I'm stressed, I might get sick? That's really stressful. But manage your stress. And that can be something as simple as breathing, just taking a moment and taking 10 mindful breaths. It could be maybe stopping social media after 5 p.m. It could be something as simple as just doing a little bit of exercise, something that calms you down. But if you're engaging in things that are stressful, For me, for example, one of the things I gave up right at the beginning of the pandemic was listening to the news. I quit listening to the news. I'm telling you, I'm better for it. I look at the headlines every now and again, but I came to realize too much news was just raising up my stress levels. It was pumping up my fear factor, and it wasn't doing anything good for me. And by stopping, I could feel my stress levels go down. In fact, I have a step tracker that also measures my heart rate, and I watched my heart rate come down when I stopped putting so much attention on headlines. So think about what might be causing stress in your life and see if you can mitigate that. It will boost your immune system. Okay, lots of superfoods, right? That always gets a lot of attention. It gets a lot of headlines. And hey, it's great to look at that. I like to pay attention to superfood things. But do keep in mind it can be a little bit faddish as well. Really, the truth is we want to have a pretty diverse diet of fruits and vegetables and whole grains and getting some seeds in there. If you eat meat, fatty fish can be a great thing to get into your diet. Try to get a diversity and consider trying to get a rainbow on your plate. All those different colors of fruits and vegetables represent different pigments in the food, which correspond with different phytonutrients. And so by getting that diversity, you're going to have your bases covered on all the nutrients, micronutrients, and minerals that you need. So focus on fruits and vegetables. Try to eat real food. Try to eat less stuff that's coming out of wrappers and boxes. And it will help you to not get sick this season. And if you think it's possible that you do have micronutrient deficiencies, again, talk to your doctor. You could have that tested, and that might be an indicator of something else going on. And you might want to talk to your doctor about whether or not a multivitamin is right for you. So if there's reasons why you can't have a very diverse diet and get all the nutrients that you need, talk to a physician and see if you can come up with a different game plan. Because deficiencies in any of these nutrients can really be a limiting factor in your body's ability to simply build immune cells and respond to infection. Okay, so this is I like this concept of losing weight to stay healthy. Now, easier said than done, but I think it points to a very interesting balance about inflammation in general. If you have extra body fat, it is a good indicator that you probably have a lot of fat around your internal organs. That's not just calorie storage, but the fat itself, the adipose tissue, another way of saying fat, can affect the production of different hormones, and it can suppress or boost immunity to different things or inflammation responses. You know, you think about autoimmune diseases are simply an overactive immune system. So if you're one that has chronic inflammation, there's certain immune cells that are in overdrive. And likewise, if you're having a suppressed immune system, you're more susceptible to infection. Adipose tissue, as you can see on this depiction, will boost the production of some immune cells, causing inflammation, and suppress others, which can make you susceptible to infection. I think the takeaway message from this is inflammation and immunity, they're related, but they're complicated. And overall, if you have excess fat, it's throwing your immune system out of whack. It's causing an inflammation response, but it's also making you more susceptible to being sick. So if you've thought about trying to lose a little bit extra weight, don't focus so much on the number, but think about getting some good habits, maybe changing the diet a little bit, maybe getting some activity in there. I'm certainly here to help you figure out what's going to be the best program for you. So I'm not going to tell you, hey, just do this. Everybody's different. But if you're feeling motivated to try and lose some fat, please talk to me. I'd be very eager to help you, and it will help you to not only feel better, but it will help you to fight off infection. this is interesting, and I think that this was in the news quite a bit, vitamin D and its relationship to respiratory illness. There was a study out of Spain, and I know that some people dispute this study, but I just want to put it on your radar, that of 216 COVID patients in a hospital, 82% of them were vitamin D deficient. Always remember, correlation does not equal causation. And so for some folks, this was disputed. It was talked about quite a bit. I don't believe it ever got to a place where the CDC was saying, hey, in order to avoid COVID, make sure that you're taking vitamin D. I will say this, pandemic or no pandemic, nobody wants to be vitamin D deficient. Vitamin D is so critical in your body and how it relates with different genes, whether they turn on or turn off. Some people consider vitamin D almost like a hormone. I've read that vitamin D interacts with almost 5% of our genes. And so your ability to produce antibodies is affected by vitamin D. And there is a tremendous proportion of our population that suffers vitamin D deficiency, particularly in this season where the sun has set much lower in the south. We're not getting as much sunlight. So our natural ability to produce vitamin D is lowered. And many of us spend a lot of time inside. In fact, the EPA estimates that we spend 93% of our lives inside. And so it's a big reason why we're deficient in vitamin D. If you think that you might be deficient in vitamin D, talk to your doctor. You can get a very simple blood test that measures it. And I'll tell you, at the county, we did that for employees. And of all the employees that chose to do that test, I believe they reported that 56% of people were vitamin D deficient. So this is a really easy way to boost your body up, feel more energy, and potentially stave off respiratory illness. If you're drinking too much alcohol, it suppresses your immune system. It's not good for you. And particularly if you're having more than 2 drinks a day, you really should think twice about how that's setting you up for illness. I can talk about all the different things that alcohol does in your body by shrinking the microbiological biome in your intestines and really inhibiting your ability to even digest food very well. But specifically about how alcohol suppresses your immune system, it's well noted. And also consider that alcohol will reduce your production of mucus. And although sometimes we wish that we didn't have it, it seems gross, right? Nobody likes snot. But mucus is one of those things that really protects you. And so if your body's ability to produce mucus has been suppressed, you're more likely to have an infection. So try to drink a little bit less during the flu season. And this is a big one. The importance of social connection. It can't be overlooked. If during the pandemic you were really careful and you isolated quite a bit, you might have suffered consequences of alienating yourself from some of your social connections. And I encourage you, find ways to reinvigorate those relationships. Of all the studies that are done to predict longevity, your social connections are one of the biggest factors. In fact, in some studies, it's more predictive of how long you'll live than whether or not you smoke. Believe it or not. That's crazy, right? Social connections are really important. So find ways to bond with people, share, see eye to eye with people, meet with them in person. If you feel the need to be socially distanced, do it in a way where you're socially distanced. Or better yet, just go outside with people and take a walk. But make an extra effort to stay connected and reach out to folks. It's good for you. And lastly, there's all kinds of pills and products that claim to boost your immune system. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. On many of those products, there's really just no research promoting them. I'm not going to tell you that they don't work, but I do believe a lot of times they're trying to pull one thing out of a food and put it into a pill form and convince you that that's as healthy as just eating real food. I have my doubts. I really believe if you follow a lot of the other things that we talk about in this presentation, you're probably not going to need these products. I think that these products get promoted quite a bit because it's such a big industry, right? There's a lot of money to be made. However, if you take some of these products and they work for you and you believe in them, I'm not going to tell you to stop, right? Hey, the most predictive effect in medical studies is the placebo effect. It's very real. And if you believe in a product and you think it's really making you feel high energy, it probably is, even if it's just a sugar pill. Placebo can be real. And so I don't recommend any of those things, but I don't necessarily say to stop taking them either. Again, maybe talk it over with your doctor, or just use your own self-awareness and decide whether or not it's working well for you. So with that, I hope that this is helpful. And if you have more questions about this, or again, if you want to talk to me about getting a health program in place, fitness, nutrition, or other factors, I'd love to help you. That's what I'm here for. And thanks for listening.
This is Plant-Based Briefing, How to Support Your Immune System with a Plant-Based Diet by Dana Hewd-Pohl at forksoverknives.com. And I'm Marian Erickson, your host, and this is the 10-minute curated content plant-based podcast where I select a variety of articles related to plant-based and healthy living, get permission, and read them to you here every weekday. Today's article is from forksoverknives.com, which was founded after the now world-famous documentary Forks Over Knives was released in 2011, which shows people how to regain control of their health and their lives with a plant-based diet. Since then, they have best-selling books, they've launched a mobile recipe app, and their website's filled with the latest research, success stories, recipes, and different tools to help people at every phase of their plant-based journeys. They also have a meal planner, a magazine, a line of food products. There are a wealth of resources you can find at forksoverknives.com, as well as the film, which I highly recommend watching. So now let's get to today's plant-based briefing. How to Support Your Immune System with a Plant-Based Diet by Dana Hewd-Pohl at forksoverknives.com. You can't always control whether you get sick, but by understanding how your immune system works, what hurts it and what helps it, you can learn to take steps to stay as healthy as possible. Spoiler alert, some of the biggest influencers on your body's natural defense system are the foods you put into your mouth. How does the immune system work? The immune system is our defense against illness. Our bodies are regularly exposed to challenges such as mutated cells and invaders such as bacteria and viruses. Immune cells act like a security system to clear them before they can lead to problems. The immune system is made up of two parts. The innate immune system senses general threats and fights off pathogens before they can settle into the body and start a full-blown infection. The adaptive or acquired immune system can create a memory of past invaders so that it can personalize the attack against them and protect us from future threats. You can't separate your immune system from the rest of your body. The immune system is expansive and complex. There are numerous kinds of immune cells, and they're housed everywhere from your skin all the way to the marrow inside your bones. They also circulate throughout your bloodstream to patrol for problems, so even your heart plays an integral role by transporting them where they need to be. There are all sorts of different factors and cells working together in a symphony, says Matthew Lederman, MD, co-founder of Connectin and co-author of the Forks Over Knives Plan and the Whole Foods Diet, the life-saving plan for health and longevity. It's a big, intricate system that works together to fight invaders. More is not necessarily better. Contrary to popular belief, we don't want a boosted immune system or more white blood cells. We want an optimal system where the immune cells that we do have work really, really well. We want the right cells going to battle and fighting for our health, says Will Bulskowitz, MD, MSCI, a gastroenterologist in Charleston, South Carolina, and author of the upcoming book Fiber Fueled. And we want the rest of our cells to cool off and not get trigger-happy. A hyperactive immune system can lead to problems like autoimmune disease, where the immune system decides your own body is the enemy and goes on the attack. and even acute respiratory distress syndrome, one of the major lung complications of viruses like COVID-19, created by an exaggerated immune response. Take care of your immune system by taking care of your body. Left to its own accord, the immune system is quite proficient at its job. Things go wayward when it gets hampered by any number of insults: environmental toxins, smoking, excessive alcohol, sleep deprivation, chronic stress, social isolation, lack of exercise, vitamin D deficiency, and a diet heavy in sugar, fats, animal products, and processed foods. When you take something that functions well and put all of this weight on it, you impair a normally robust immune system, says Lederman. Forget taking an immune-boosting supplement or incorporating a vitamin-packed superfood to counteract lifestyle choices that are bogging it down. Immune health doesn't work that way. We have to remove the weight so that the immune system can slingshot back into this amazing, powerful thing, says Lederman. Why diet is so important to supporting the immune system. An astounding 70 to 80% of your immune system resides in your gut. The immune system is separated from the 39 trillion microbes of your gut microbiome by a single layer of cells a fraction the width of a strand of hair. The two are in constant communication. A strong microbiome empowers the neighboring immune cells for optimal function, says Bulskowitz. When you benefit the gut, you also benefit the immune system. The foods that are highest in fiber are whole plant foods, including vegetables, fruits, whole grains, legumes, nuts, and seeds. Instead of focusing on a single micronutrient like vitamin C, it's important to eat a wide variety since they contain different vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and phytochemicals that work in synergy. Why do you still get sick even if you eat a healthy diet? Eating a whole food, plant-based diet does not make you bulletproof. By combining a diverse plant-based diet with plentiful sleep, regular exercise, stress management, social connection, and good hygiene, you increase your odds of staying healthy. These healthy lifestyle practices can also lessen the intensity and duration of your symptoms when you do catch a bug. Getting sick and getting better is part of a healthy life, says Lederman. The more you can build up that memory of different viruses, the more likely your sickness is to be uneventful. You just listened to How to Support Your Immune System with a Plant-Based Diet by Dana Hude-Pohl at ForksOverKnives.com. And I'm your host, Marian Erickson. Please share this episode with anyone who may benefit, and thanks for listening.
Thank you, George, and thank you, Marian. We really appreciate all that you've put into these presentations. They have very valuable information. Marian asked us to encourage each of you to check out the webinar, Fiber Fueled, at ForksOverKnives.com. There's some very valuable information there as well. Now moving on to the food prep part of our show, we have Cooking with Pajah, and she's joined by Denise Black. So ladies, take it away.
Hi, welcome to Cooking with Pajah. Tonight we're going to make some vegan nachos along with some vegan BLTs, and we're also going to make a house salad. I'm going to have Denise help me out tonight. There's a lot of stuff, as you can see, that we need for these three meals or entrees. Okay, so starting off, we're going to make this vegan nacho cheese sauce. So there's 2 cups of cashews right here. They have been soaked overnight. So what we want to do is we're going to put this in the blender.
We're making cheese out of cashews.
I'm excited to see what this is going to taste like. Okay, so with the cashews, we are going to put lemon juice, 3 cups of water here. How much? Okay. And there is nutritional yeast in here. Let's see. Paprika, garlic powder, onion powder, chili powder. And we're also gonna add some turmeric to make this cheese look yellow orange. Okay, and then we're gonna blend at high speed. Now that this has been blended, I'm gonna put it in a pan so we can start heating up the cheese sauce. Thank you very much. All right, so we're gonna take this off. And we're going to put it in here and let it warm up. Looks like cheese sauce to me. All right, and we'll just set this to the side. All right, so in the meantime, while that cheese sauce is warming up, we're going to also warm up a cup of black beans for the nachos, the vegan nachos. So, and for the vegan BLT, we have this Morning Star vegan bacon that we're going to use. And Denise will go ahead and kind of start cooking some of that bacon while I'm prepping some other items over here. All right, so for the salad, we have some iceberg lettuce here. Is this no, this is romaine, I'm sorry. This is romaine lettuce, and we're gonna chop up the lettuce just like this. Okay. And for this house salad, we're gonna make this dressing. So the dressing calls for 2 tablespoons of hummus. So let's go ahead and get that in here. So we'll get 2 tablespoons in here. Use this. Okay. All right. So with the hummus, we are going to also add half a lemon juice cup, or lemon juice, half of a lemon juiced, and let's see here, dried dill. So we got some dried dill in here, garlic powder, and we're also gonna do some amber agave.
Yeah.
Yay! So we're gonna pour that in here, and then we're gonna whisk it.
With a whisker that looks like a corn cob.
Yes, this little whisk. We're just gonna whisk it up in here. And this is the dressing for the house salad. So I'm just gonna whisk that up. So for the salad, we are also going to add some cherry tomatoes.
And here is, you're gonna put the salad in here.
Okay,
right?
yeah. So I'm gonna set this dressing to the side.
You want me to take that whisk?
Yes, here we go. Dressing to the side. So for the salad, we're gonna add the chopped lettuce. Here. There's also cherry tomatoes. We're gonna cut up and put in there. have some diced carrots already. We're gonna put in here. And some red onions. Throw that in there. All right. Oh yeah. Do you guys see that? I like salads to be colorful. So it's also asking to put some diced avocado pieces in there. So let's go ahead and get that diced up. Oh gosh, we'll save that for later. All right, there we go. Okay, I'm gonna take this. Oh my goodness, I cannot get that. All right, we're gonna dice it like this. There we go. All right. Usually when I dice stuff, I kind of like to do them in slices, and then I just go back and cut them horizontally. So this is what we've got for the salad. All right. So.
Oh, that looks lovely.
And then we're
That looks
also
so
gonna add
delicious.
some sesame seeds to the salad here. And that's pretty much it for the salad. Looks pretty good.
It does.
Okay, so we got the salad, and then we got the dressing. We'll leave this dressing up here next to it for later.
Cheese sauce is getting there.
All right. So it's getting pretty thick. Denise has been cooking this cheese sauce on a medium-low temperature, and it's starting to thicken up a little bit. That should be good. Or more.
No, that's good.
Okay. So we're also gonna make the pico that goes with the nachos. So that's gonna be diced onions, tomatoes, 1 lime. Okay. So we have diced onions here, diced tomatoes, and some lime juice. Okay. And what else I need to do? Mix this with, let's see here. Yeah.
I need to cut this bacon.
Lime juice. And then the guacamole. We're gonna make some guacamole as well. Which the recipe just calls for 1 avocado mashed with some lime juice. So this is the pico. We're gonna do this avocado. Why does this not come out?
I think they could have been a touch more ripe.
Okay, there we go. So Denise is gonna put some of the vegan mayonnaise on the toasted bread for the vegan BLT. Cheese sauce is done. So put this in. This is lime juice that I'm adding to the avocado here, and I'm just gonna mash this to make the guacamole if I can. This is too hard. All right, so that's pretty much done there. So what we're gonna do now is we're going to start making some of these like BLT appetizers. So we have some bread that's been toasted with some vegan mayonnaise already on there. And we're pretty much just going to add bacon, lettuce, pickles, and tomatoes. So these are the Morningstar bacon that Denise had finished cooking. So we're just gonna go ahead and add those onto the slices, like so. And I had some sliced some lettuce here, so I'm gonna put that on top like that. And then we have some pickles. Put some pickles on there. Some sliced pickles. And lastly, we have our little cherry tomatoes that I sliced in half. Top it off with that. And then to keep them in place, we're just gonna poke them with some Q-tips through the layers, like so. Just like that. And these little BLT appetizers are done. And the salad's done with the dressing, and then what we're gonna do are the nachos. So pretty much we have the cheese sauce appetizers are done. And the salad's done with the dressing, and then what we're gonna do are the nachos. So pretty much we have the cheese sauce, it has been cooking, so we're going to, let's see here, top it off with the queso, black beans, and anything else that we want. We're gonna pour some of the queso on here. Just like that. I'm gonna put some of the black beans that has been heated up on here. Top it off with the pico. We're also gonna top it off with some of this easy guacamole. It was just an avocado and some lime juice. Okay. And we also are going to top off with some olives here, which is optional. If you don't like olives, don't use olives. All right, so this is what we've got. We've got your vegan nachos here with your house salad and dressing, along with the vegan BLTs. That's it. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys enjoy.
Hello, Bill Gates. Yeah, this is Lorie Street with KlingsporFIT. We're just calling to tell you how upset we are because we have a production team here that's trying to put on a live video and your computer just went dead on us. So anyway, just wanted to let you know, back to the show. Hey, you guys, we don't know what caused this, but the computer that we're running the show with just shut down and gave us a frowny face. So we really apologize for that, and we'll try to look into this in more detail. But moving on with the show, next we're going to have me, Lorie Street, and George Place. He's going over some exercises with me on my fitness journey to help me with lower body strength. Here we go. Thank you. Hey everybody, here we are again at KlingsporFIT. If you saw our last segment where I confessed to the world my issue with my weight and my desire to become more fit so I could play more comfortably and easily with my granddaughter, George promised that he would show me some exercises that would help in that regard. So he's here today, and you'll notice we're not in the fitness center downstairs. I mentioned that that was not a place that I was looking forward to working out. Maybe one day later when I get better at what I'm doing, maybe then. But so today we're here in the open office area. A part of that purpose is to show you that these exercises can be done in an office, in your home. Don't have to go to a gym to do these. So George, what do you got in store for me today?
That's right. I love that. And, you know, really, Lorie, I think 3 exercises are going to get you a lot of functionality in leg strength building. And so we'll talk about maybe some variations of those big 3. The first one is a squat. And there's a lot of ways to do it. You and I were talking about squatting with assistance. And so a chair is an excellent prop for a squat, or you could use a countertop, anything that you can kind of grab onto and put a little bit of weight into. So let me grab this chair. And to demonstrate, imagine grabbing onto a sturdy chair, maybe a countertop, so that I can lean back. Now this chair, I can't lean back too much. As I put some weight here, I position my legs so that they're nice and spread apart. I can feel my heels pushing down. And then rather than let my knees come forward over my toes, I push my hips back. Get into a squat position, and then come right back up. Give it a shot.
I hope nobody has a tape measure to show how far you were from the ground as opposed to how far I'm going to get, but here we go.
Yeah, that's great, Lorie. And so I would cue you, and you're doing it just right. See how your knee is not going out over your toe? Really good form. And right about there, that's where you start to cross into maybe uncomfortable territory. Yes. Listen to your body. And so that's your squat position, and then come back up. And so part of your workout could be maybe starting out doing 10 of those.
Okay.
And then we build from there. We have a series of repetitions and whatnot that we can add some mild progression onto your workout as you strengthen up.
Okay, sounds good.
The other thing about this chair, how many of us spend our work days in and out of chairs, right? So we were talking about this before. When you think about a squat, or for that matter, any exercise, there's kind of two phases. I have the phase where I'm resisting gravity. So when I sit down, I'm resisting gravity. That's the eccentric phase. And then we have the phase where I'm actually doing the squat. I stand back up, and that's the concentric phase. A lot of times we think about that squatting, that standing up, that's how I strengthen. But actually, it's the resistance to gravity part where you're building muscle. Both are excellent. What I want to encourage everybody that might be watching is don't miss out on an opportunity. When you sit down as slow as you can. And so maybe throughout the day, you could add a habit of maybe every hour you do that 5 times. You could just stand up out of your chair and then as slow as you can, sit back down. Maybe just twice, 3 times.
Okay.
Give it a shot.
Okay.
Yeah, it's great. I really see you pushing your hips back. And that you know that that's what I want. I love that. Good job.
I was searching for the chair.
Also, you don't want to fall.
Correct.
You're great.
Okay,
Right?
let's do it one more time.
Sure.
Kind of let go there at the end, but
Yeah, but you can feel the difference, right?
yes.
It's great.
Okay.
Yeah, so another thing to just bring attention to, and really it's a strength training opportunity every time you sit down. The last thing on this squat option is a wall sit. I come over to any wall really, position my feet. I like to get them further out from my body again so that my knees don't go out over my toes. I use my hands and I just walk myself down to as deep as I want to go on that squat, push my back against the wall, and then I'm not looking for how many times, but how many seconds I can hold this. And so maybe initially holding it 10 seconds is pretty good. I'll tell you, you'll be surprised how quickly you can work up to holding this for 30 seconds or even a minute. What's great is I'm really working my quadriceps right now, but there's no movement on my joint. So if I have knee pain or I don't feel like going up and down is really going to feel great on my knees, you can build strength without really utilizing your knees very much at all. Same thing when you're ready to come up, use your hands, stand back up. Maybe a little further out. There you go. Yeah.
Microphone issue.
Good. Right there. And now just press back. And feel it in your
That's hard.
heels. Yeah, you can feel that, right? Press your heels down. You feel how it changes when you press on the heels?
Yes.
So starting out, even 10 seconds is going to be a great challenge, right?
Absolutely. That was hard.
Yeah, they're hard.
But I can see how it would help you because you can feel it right here.
Yep. And then finally, just a straight body squat. Those are all progressions working up to a regular squat. And I'll turn sideways again so you can see I'm really trying to send my hips back rather than allow my knees to go forward. I can put my arms out for a little bit more balance. I would ideally like to get down to where my legs are flat and I can look up and this protects my low back and then standing back up. That's a body squat. So we're working up to that, right? And wherever you're at in that comfort place, you go down, that's where you stop and come back up.
All right.
I always encourage folks, listen to their body. Okay, so that's the first exercise, squats. Second one is a kneel. And so I think we talked about this before. On a kneel, this is a very functional exercise. I'm bringing one leg forward and I'm kneeling down again, mindful of that knee going out over the toe so I can kneel all the way down to the ground. And then from here, I can just swivel my leg around and sit down. And then when I practice this as a functional exercise, I just go in reverse, send my leg back out, and stand back up. Want to give that a try?
Yep. Is it okay at first if I use my hands for balance?
Oh yeah, that's
Okay.
great.
Am I in the right places?
Yes. Yep. And then if you wanted to sit down, you could just swivel your left leg. That's right. Yep. And you're on the ground with your granddaughter.
Yeah.
And then if you want to stand back up, just reverse that. That's right. That's it. Excellent. Kneels are a really high functional exercise. And so just doing that and alternating which leg you do it on is going to be a significant workout.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's a lot of ways to do it. Once that feels comfortable, you might get to a place where, and you could grab onto things if that feels safe, or you can hinge your hips like you're doing and reach out your hands, kneel down, come back up, and then with a press, go back to standing position and do the other leg. Working up to that, right?
Right.
So again, super functional. So that's the second one, kneels. And then the third one, we want to do something to really activate your glutes.
Right.
And there's kettlebells. I think we've talked about that before. You can imagine when I'm holding something, I'm going to turn to the side. The whole way that I'm activating my glutes is when I swing my pelvic girdle forward. So if I have a kettlebell, I'm pressing with my hips, and that's actually what's raising that kettlebell up. For some folks, that's an advanced exercise. It takes a little bit to coordinate the firing of your glutes with the swinging of your shoulders, right? So an easy way to get in touch with your glutes, let's try that kneel sit. So let's sit down on the ground.
Am I doing this with you right now?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Good. And let me move this chair out of the way. I can lay flat on my back. I'm going to use your mat, Lorie, if that's okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Flat on my back here. And you can see that I'm just on my back. I've got my feet up. And now from here, I'm going to press with my feet into the ground and lift up my pelvic girdle. Notice that my upper back is still on the ground. I'm not putting pressure on my neck. My neck is relaxed. And then back down again. And so I'm squeezing my glutes in order to raise this up. This exercise is called a glute bridge, and it will really activate your booty. So up and down here, you can do a set of starting out 10. Very quickly, you'll find that you can do many more. So before long, you'll surprise yourself. You'll be doing 50 of these, no problem.
Cross fingers. Okay, so here we go.
That's great.
How long do I hold it?
So you can imagine if you squeeze and hold, it's more work. So you could even do this with your breath. You could do an inhale as you go down, exhale as you go up. You could do them faster. I think the nice, slow, and controlled is going to be safe, and it's going to get you what you want, which is really functional strength. Yeah, that looks great. How does that feel?
Good. Feels like it would do me a lot of good.
Yep. Those are what I would say are 3 big, very functional exercises for low body strength, and it's really going to keep you mobile up and down, and you know, reaching those goals of playing with your granddaughter, getting on your horse, and just all the other things that we do using our legs.
Okay.
I would offer to help you up, but I know that you have been doing these exercises
that would
before
be
you're starting.
cheating.
That would be cheating.
Thanks a lot. I really
Hey,
appreciate it.
my pleasure.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to this exercise segment. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight, and we appreciate you sticking with us through our technical hiccup. We hope you have a good